Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 2 of DIY Dollar Tree decorative wrapped boxes. 6 ways. We're going to do these 2 ways. These are the small boxes from the Dollar Tree wrapped in fabric and of course embellishments. It's these 2 boxes that sort of look like, I don't know, paper bag. We're going to use some of the Dollar Tree's fabric fat quarters, and this is in the black and white check. And then for the other one, we're going to use a little bit of this fleece scarf, but you can use whatever you want. So with fabric, it is going to be a little bit different than the paper. Are not going to glue all the entire box, the entire fabric. We're just going to glue around the edges. So what you want to make sure you do is, these boxes are nice and square, which is great, and this buffalo check really helps, or this gingham. What you want to do is just want to put enough around each side to go up the side and then on the inside. You just want to be able to wrap it around. So now that I have it even, I see that it's going to line up with that row of black and white check. I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue on the inside of the box. I'm going to use my rubber spatula, and this glue is just going in the very center. You're not going to glue the whole way, and I'll show you why in a minute. And then we're going to do the opposite side, just like when we do anything that requires stretching the fabric. You want to just do one side, do opposing sides, and do the same thing. Take this silicone spatula. Now I just find it easier. Fabric sometimes, because it's porous, will sometimes allow hot glue to come through and burn your fingers, so be careful. So now we're going to deal with the sides, and to show you what the sides are, we're going to make sort of straight sides, and this is especially important with patterned fabrics. You want to make the sides basically the same, the pattern in the same direction. So what we're doing is we're tucking in a little bit. We're putting a little bit of glue underneath the corners of the fabric. We're tucking in just a tiny, tiny bit. And then we're folding the side fabric up. Do you see there how it creates sort of a straight seam on that corner? And it just goes straight up. Then we're going to repeat the gluing on the inside. And right here, I'm going to slow it down for you. So we're just going to put a dot of hot glue on the lid sides, just at the corners. And what that's going to do is that's going to hold the fabric that we're tucking under. It's just going to hold it down ever so gently, right there and right there. Now you don't want to go straight down now, because that will create that angle that you get when you wrap packages at home. So what you want to do is you want to hold your finger on that piece that you glued down, and then you want to fold the fabric down, and what you'll see is it will create that sort of clean edge on the corner there. You may have to roll it with your fingers a tiny bit and just manipulate it, but you definitely will get a nice clean edge on the corner. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue underneath that clean edge so it stays just on the corner. I hope that this really makes sense, but it really does give a nice finished look. Now, if you're having any kind of pattern, but especially this straight check pattern, you don't want to have all of those angular pieces like you would if you were wrapping an actual package. And because we're trying to create the illusion that this is one package with the lid that can come off, we want to make it look like one continuous piece. So we don't want to make it straight edges on the top, on the lid, and then sort of do that angle fold on the bottom. We just want to make it straight edges the whole way. So now for the bottom of the box, we're going to do almost the exact same thing. We're just going to make sure that the square of fabric is big enough to go all the way around, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a little glue on the inside, fold over the edge with our rubber spatula, pulling the fabric tight, and then we're going to repeat the same thing just on a bigger scale that we did with the lid. So we're just going to add a little glue on the edges, tuck in, fold up, make that nice flat edge corner. And then when we're all done, we're going to glue in the remaining piece of the fabric into the inside of the box. Now, just like we did yesterday with all of the the paper covered boxes, you can line these if you want to. You can continue to make a lining on the inside. You can make these removable or not removable. That really is entirely up to you and a matter of personal preference. Now, if you have difficulty finding these boxes, the Dollar Tree does sell the gift boxes like we used yesterday, but smaller versions of them pretty much all year round. And since you're going to cover them, just make sure that the fabric that you're using is going to be dark enough or thick enough to cover any patterns that you might have if you use the other boxes. But really, both of these techniques today and yesterday could both be used on really any size box that you want. Okay? Now I'm just trying to line up the best side to be like the front, quote unquote. Just trying to see like one good side. It's so not necessary to me that I lined up the pattern, but if that's something that will bother you, then I want you to go ahead and pay attention to lining up the pattern. Now, it will make it thick. Did you see how difficult it was to get the cover back on? I mean, not very difficult, but it was more difficult to get the cover back on. So all I just did was took my rubber spatula so the fabric wouldn't get smushed down, and I used it to push the fabric up under it. Now this one I'm not going to have open and close. I'm just going to wrap the ribbon around. Now this ribbon actually came off of a I think it was pajamas. It might have been a blanket. But it's a really thin burlap ribbon that I had, and I really have been wanting to use it for a long time. But I try to stick to all Dollar Tree products for you guys. But I just figure if I'm always going to do that, then I'm never going to get to use this burlap. And this one, scale-wise, just happened to be absolutely perfect for this box. So this is like the bow, like this is kind of like a loopy bow, but this is a really easy way to do it. So what you want to do is you want to cut 8 of the same size loops, or you could do 4 a little larger and then 4 a little smaller. But I like 8 the same size loops. And you're going to do, I like to start diagonal, so you're going to do northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, like that. And then you're going to do north, south, east, and west. What I've done is I folded them all in half into a loop. And again, that size is not really, I can't give you inches because it depends on what size box you end up using. But just do it as wide as you want the bow to be. Or half as wide as you want the bow to be. And then for the last loop, we're just going to create sort of a circle and glue it to itself, and then glue it right in the middle. Okay? Now, so for the next one, this is the exact same box. We are going to do this one a little different because, you know, what's the point if it's just a repetitive? So for this one, I'm trying to be cheap again, like I was yesterday, and I'm trying to conserve the fabric. So I'm going to start with the box's bottom, and I'm going to wrap the scarf around it. Now, I want to show you. I started to wrap the scarf like the width of the scarf, and I was like, Jeri, no. I left a mistake in there because I want you guys to know that I make mistakes too. Why am I not just wrapping this with the length of the scarf? Yes, that's what I ended up doing. So what I just did was basically wiggle some hot glue all over the surface, and then we're just going to roll it, and I'm trying to use the check pattern to keep it straight and the cut edge from the factory. I'm just lining that up with the bottom. So this box will not have fabric on the bottom, just like some, you know, yesterday we didn't have some didn't have paper on the bottom and stuff too. So you want to roll all 4 sides, and when you get to the very edge, you want to just cut a little bit, actually we started with a little bit extra over the first side, and then we're going to cut right to the edge and glue. And then for tucking in the boxes, this is very simple. There's no folding, no extra anything. You're just going to glue around all sides and then tuck them in evenly. Okay, and again, the same thing with this one. If you want to line it, if you want to just leave it that way, whatever works for you. So now here is the lid. I'm going to place the lid directly on, like, basically center 4 squares on it. That's what I wanted to do. But you guys do whatever look you're after, whatever fabric you end up using. You center it the way you want it. And now we're just going to do the same thing we did like with the sides. We're just going to add a little bit of glue. We're going to wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. We're going to stop opposite sides. I'm sorry, just like we did with the bottom of the box. We're just going to add a little glue. We're going to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle some glue back, and then we're just going to fold it over. Now for this is going to be a little bit different than the last one because this is fleece, and fleece is almost, it's not self-healing, but it kind of looks like it could be. So what I'm going to do with this box is I'm going to fold up and glue up all of the 4 edges. And then we're going to cut the corners away. But we want to make sure that the corners are cut or glued down really, really well. Okay. So now here's like, which corner do I want to use? What did we do yesterday? That's what I was doing. No joke. So you just want to add a little glue to the corner. I want to pinch the corner together, and then I'm just going to cut along that very corner. You don't want to cut too close because then you could end up cutting the box, plus you could end up making the box show. So you just want to fold up the 4 sides, and then you want to go ahead, add a little glue to the corner, pinch the corner, and then cut the corner down. It's really just that simple. Now this box, kind of like the red one we did yesterday, boy, that was not even on purpose. We're going to make this one open and close a bowl. Open a bowl and close a bowl. So we're going to take some more of that same burlap that I had from a, a, a package. I really wish I could remember what package it came off of, but it's such a nice, cute little piece of burlap. I'm going to do the same ribbon technique we did yesterday, except we're going to just glue it all the way down. So we're going to tuck it in, glue it down, and then when it's all set, glue it underneath, and then cut it off. Now again, I'm doing this because I'm cheap. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to not have to use too much or run out of this ribbon. That's really what it's coming down to. But this would look really good with any ribbons that coordinate. It's just that my inspiration was those boxes from Big Lots and Hobby Lobby and Walmart and all the places that I saw those boxes this year. Okay. So now I have the two sides. I think I'm just going to put ribbon on two sides. What do we think? Do the same thing where you're going to try to find the front, quote unquote, the front. And you want to line up your ribbon on your lid with the ribbon that's already on the side. Same thing, same thing. Add a little hot glue on the inside, a little bit of glue on the outside. Like I said, that's what makes this one different, just that we're gluing the ribbon down. Okay, and this bow will be different too. Now this bow is going to be unlike any bow I've ever made before. We're just going to take a little loop of fabric and a little stretch of, what do I call it, tails. And we're going to kind of create, I feel like this is a Melissa from 4/4 Crafts kind of bow, where we're just going to fold it over and then tie it with a piece of jute. Just make a real simple little bow. And then what I'm doing a little different for this embellishment today is I'm taking one of these wooden stickers. The snowflake I thought was really cute. And I will, in full disclosure, tell you I just stuck it on there, but boy, that didn't last. I peeled off the little double sticky tape and hot glued it down for the future. And here it is, and here's how it looks when it's open. Like I said, you could use these for gifts, or you could just use them for decor. You can use this technique to wrap any presents you have in your house. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in learning these techniques of wrapping boxes in fabric. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And we'll see you tomorrow for the last part in the series. We're going to do a big free box. Can't wait to show you. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.